to make sure that the road is complete and up to town standards. The last one little item that's been out there is some of the grass along the side swales that was regraded just hadn't germinated yet. So I went out today, like Jim had mentioned, and just sort of gave Jim and Dawn an update as far as that the germination has really taken hold. And with the last or the forthcoming 2 or 3 weeks before town meeting, we're very comfortable that the entire roadway is up to town standards and hopefully acceptable for you folks to recommend it at this fall town meeting for acceptance.
Does anyone on the board have any questions? Then what I would like to do, Mark, I agree with our goal is to have this approved for the town meeting. And as Jim said, we're waiting from Don DiMartino. So I'd like to do, unless you disagree, hold this over to our first meeting in November, which would be, our next meeting would be before the town meeting. Get the sign off from Don DiMartino and DPW, and then quickly approve it at that meeting. And that would still put you in time frame for a presentation at our town meeting.
Much appreciated. And the FinCom, just to let you know, FinCom did the same similar action item, and they are going to hear us on the day of the town meeting. When is your next scheduled hearing? Is it the day of the town meeting?
No, so they hold their next meeting on November 12th.
Okay.
Which is a week before.
Gotcha. Well, we anticipate a little bit more growth on the grass swale, and if it's just watching the grass grow, more than happy to do it.
Okay. Sure. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you, guys.
For our next meeting, stay safe and be well.
All right. You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jim, I'd like to go back to the top of the agenda. 118 Maple Street.
Yep. So before you,
speed, I know we have a document in front of us.
yep. So yeah, before you is a draft decision. So as a reminder, at the last meeting, the board has reviewed the applicant's request for a backlot subdivision. The board continued this discussion. However, we have not closed the meeting just yet. And so just a reminder, typically we continue the meetings in order to incorporate any additional information. The applicant provided that plan that he discussed at the last meeting regarding the improvements to the frontage there. So we were able to incorporate that in the decision. And so, you know, if the board has any final questions or any comments or anything like that, now would be the time. If the board is satisfied, you could then close the hearing and then discuss any decision that you would like to contemplate.
Have we all had a chance to review this? Does anyone have any questions? Brian?
No, I have no questions. If Jim, if you're satisfied with what we've received to date, I have no question.
Phil?
No questions.
Liz?
No questions.
Dennis?
None from me.
I don't have any questions, so I think at this point, what we could do is I would entertain a motion to approve the draft decision.
So if we could just, well, first off, I want to just, yeah, if we could close, but also I do see Russ has joined us, just so you know.
Russ, have you had a chance to look at the 118 Maple Street backlot special permit decision?
Oh, yeah, you're unmuted. I can't hear you though. I think he's giving us a thumbs up.
Okay. So then what I'd like to do is entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There's a motion on the floor to close the public hearing. Any questions or comments? All in favor of closing the public hearing on 118 Maple Street, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. We also on the floor have a motion to approve the decision that is in front of us this evening. All in favor of approving the decision? Who made? Brian, you made it. Who seconded it? Dennis?
Yep.
I technically didn't make the motion, but I'm happy to.
Okay. Dennis, will you be happy to second it?
I do. I second it.
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
If I may, real quick, so we need that permit signed by at least 4 members of the board. If there's any opportunity either tomorrow, or if you guys want to text me over the weekend, if you're in the area, I'm happy to, swing by, or Monday, one of those. If there's any opportunity to swing by, just let me know. Shoot me an email or text me or whatever, and we'll line up a time.
If we can try to get in touch with Jim by Monday, that'd be appreciated. I think these people, if I remember correctly, would like to get this done as quickly as possible. Jim, we have next 161 and 169 Maple Street.
Yep. So I can quickly read the public hearing notice. In accordance with the Town of Bellingham zoning bylaws, Section 24016, Development Plan Approval, the Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the Arcam Meeting Room in the Municipal Center. The general public may participate utilizing the virtual meeting option found on the Town of Bellingham's website. The applicant is Will Boyle, LMP Properties, LLC, and owner John D. Raymond, LMP Properties, LLC. Proposed site improvements to the existing bulk storage and mulch processing operation at 161 and 169 Maple Street in Bellingham, shown on Assessor's Map 26, Lot 1 and 2601A. The plans were prepared by Geo-Environmental, Inc., entitled Proposed Grading and Drainage Plan, last revised February 13th, 2020. The application and plans may be viewed at the Planning and Zoning Office or Town Clerk's Office in the Municipal Center, 10 Mechanic Street, Bellingham, Mass. During regular business hours. For questions, please contact the town planner. Motion to open the hearing?
I believe I need to have a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, open the hearing for 161 and 169 Maple Street. Please signify by saying aye.
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 Jim, can you bring us up to speed and can you tell us what happened over the past 2 days with this applicant and Borrego Solar?
Sure. So this application, so first off, I would just note that the applicant is requesting a continuation to November 12th. That is partially at the request of my own. I thought it would be prudent to have a good conversation in person. So I requested that they ask for a continuation, and they agreed that it probably be in everyone's best interest. So if the board is okay with that, the request of the continuation of November 12th. In front of you, you do have a package from the applicant regarding the application narrative, stormwater report, and a plan sheet. In addition, you do have my checklist, the normal checklist that I go down for development plan, as well as comments from DPW. And I have been requesting comments from other departments as well. So I hope to have those by the November 12th meeting. Separately, there is the Borrego Solar that was discussed at our last meeting was formally withdrawn as of last night. So that's all squared away at this point. So that's no longer on the agenda, and they do have the opportunity to begin construction of that solar site starting, well, they want to start Monday.
And there's no problem with them starting Monday, correct?
No, we've reviewed the silt fence, we've reviewed the water line connections, and we had a pre-construction meeting with them. So yeah, we're in good shape for Monday.
Jimmy, you mentioned the checklist. Can you give us an overview for the board on what your feeling is?
Well, like most applications, when I provide the checklist, it's a pretty straightforward checklist of all the bylaws. It's not complete by any means. And so, I've provided that to the applicant as well. So hopefully by the first meeting in November, they will have addressed that checklist.
Okay, I'd like to start. Does anyone have any questions? Dennis?
No,
Phil?
No questions.
Brian?
Nope.
Liz?
No.
All right. Russ?
No, can you hear me now?
We can.
Oh, great, thank you. No, no more questions, thank you.
We can also see you as well.
That's great, thank you.
Jim, I have a couple of comments. Based on what we have in front of us, they have a lot of work to do. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. I mean, the checklist is only about half complete. Yep.
Do they realize the importance of completing this checklist?
I hope so. Yeah, I've stressed the importance to the applicant.
Okay. For one, I would be disappointed if there are a lot of outstanding items to be addressed come November 12th.
Yeah, great.
So technically, we need to vote for a request for the continuance on 161 and 169 Maple Street. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second,
There's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded to extend to our November 12th meeting. 161 and 169 Maple Street. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Oh, I thought I heard something from like the New Orleans area. I'm not quite sure. It was kind of faint. Town meeting warrant review.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to look at the town meeting warrant. It's not a overly exciting town meeting. There's not a lot of hot button topics there. So if you have any questions or comments or want to provide any recommendations, I'm happy to go down them if you want. The only one that I thought I would bring to your guys' attention is, I believe it is, one second, Article 15 perhaps. Hold on, I'm just looking at it real quick. 14, the lease of land. So that is, lease of land is the old Pearl Street Mill. So, Dennis Frayne and myself have been working on that site for a long time now, trying to get any potential prospects there for development. It's obviously a very tough location, given that, one, it used to site a mill from the 1700s. It sits on the Charles River. There's wetlands in the back. So there's a lot of constraints involved in that site. There's no sewer, or there's water line nearby, but there's no sewer. So housing is out of the question. And we've brought multiple developers out there for that. Eventually, we started to investigate different types of more unique uses. And about 2 years ago, I was interested in solar storage. And so we started investigating a little bit more. And we put out a request for proposals, and we got a bid on the solar storage for this site. And I had a meeting with them just yesterday, and it looks fairly promising. It's an old dilapidated site bringing no revenue. And with the lease of land, we could potentially, to start, get about 100,000 annually, plus or minus, to start, and it will increase over time. So I think this is a good opportunity. So I would love to be able to investigate it further. I wouldn't say we have to provide a recommendation as a board, given that you will likely, if this goes through, have to review the site plan for it. But just as individuals at town meeting, if there are any concerns or anything, it would be great to have support for that one, because I think there's a really good opportunity to clean up the site and bring some revenue to the town.
That's fine. Are any boards looking for our direction from us on any issues?
Yep, FinCom is looking for just for the street acceptance. Initially, they wanted recommendations on things like easements and the Pearl Street Mill, for instance. And easements are more clerical, and DPW is involved in that. So we certainly could provide recommendations if you'd like, but it's not necessary. But obviously, FinCom is definitely looking for your input in terms of street acceptance for Corinne and Monique.
And that again is something we'll vote on in our next meeting.
Exactly.
Bill, can I ask
The
Jim
75 Mechanic Street A&R.
Bill, before we move on to that, can I ask Jim a question?
Of course.
Thank you. Jim, what is your concern about whether or not we take a position and recommend or not recommend the warrant article concerning Pearl Street?
It's not much of a concern. I just, I just don't want to put you all in a position where you have to look and review a development plan in the future and the applicant to be able to turn around and say, if it was a bad development plan, for instance, he'd say, hey, but you recommended this, 6 months ago or something like that. Honestly, it's not really a concern of mine, but I just would prefer not to put you in that position if you didn't want to be in that position.
All right.
Brian, I feel, I like the concept. I've spoken to Jim a few times on this. And I feel like if we say we have a favorable decision at the town meeting, and as Jim said, they come back to us, and there's some things we not like in the plan, it sort of boxes us in. And we've already, in essence, I could say we've already spoken in favor of this. So that would be my reservation about saying anything on this.
Okay, that's understandable. I'm just curious. I do want to commend Jim and Dennis and whoever else has been working on this. I know that Jim's been talking about this and really trying to find a good use of this parcel of land that there wasn't many good uses, and there's really no obvious answers of how that site that's it's probably contaminated with God knows what of asbestos and whatever they built buildings hundreds of years ago. So I think it's these kinds of smart calculated decisions is a really good positive step. And I don't know much about the actual proposal, but I think anything going in that site is a real accomplishment.
Brian, can you just give you a little bit of background? When I was on the housing authority, we had bids from several developers that wanted to put a nursing home and assisted living in there. And we had opportunity to get money from the federal government to clean it up. And we wanted to preserve the tower. And that's all fallen through. I mean, we've looked at tons of options. And there's not much. It's too bad because it's a nice site.
Yeah.
Jim, I'd like to move on unless anyone objects to the minutes.
If we could, we have one A&R still.
Of the 75 Mechanic Street.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up on my screen here. One moment. Oops. No. One moment. I'll try to get to the middle one here. There we go. Can you all see that plan?
We can. I can.
Excellent. Okay. So this plan might look somewhat familiar as we discussed this parcel of land about a year ago. So this site is right next to where Taylor Rental is on Mechanic Street. So Taylor Rental is right at 71 right here. This is Mechanic Street right here. And then there's a small used car dealer right here. The fence that exists today goes this way onto right abuts where Taylor Rentals fence is now. And last year they made it official by providing this parcel A to the used car dealer. At that time, this line remained. So now they're coming back and just deleting this line. So it's more or less clerical, just to fix it so that they now don't own two parcels, they own one whole parcel there. It meets all the requirements and all that.
Does anyone have any questions?
Jim, just out of curiosity, is there any intent to do anything with these parcels that you're aware of?
So actually the one that is getting cleaned up here, so 75 Mechanic Street, the reason it's getting cleaned up is because it's been sold. And so the person purchasing it realized it needs to clean it up, fix it. So that's actually going to be J. White Classic Car Repair, I believe is what it is. I spoke with them about a year ago. They're out of Framingham. They were looking for a new site, and we discussed this parcel. They have a pretty clean site in Framingham. It's classic car repair. They typically don't do the run-of-the-mill Corollas or whatever, but they will if you bring it in, apparently. So, but yeah, so it's going to be high-end car repair, and they like the site because it has a nice garage and a fenced-in yard for them.
Thank you.
Question, Jim. What happens to the used car license?
Yeah, so if they actively use it, so they're not limited to it. If they wanted to put a nice classic car for sale or something like that, they could, because it is on the site. I'm sure that, I don't know, but I'm sure that was part of the sale, because we did not receive a request to withdraw a license. That's for certain.
So they can sell the license, so to speak, or they sell the business and.
Right. Yeah. If it stays with the property. So yeah, if they sold it, they could sell the business with the license and the property, and keep it running. It would just be a transfer.
Okay.
I entertain a motion to approve the signing of the A&R for 75 Mechanic Street.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion on the floor? I'm sorry, any discussion? All in favor of the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to go back to the minutes of our two meetings on October 8th, 2020. We all had a chance to review those minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Entertain a motion to approve the meeting of the special meet. First of all, the October 8th regular meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion on the floor to approve the minutes of October 8th. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes.
If I may, for the next minutes, if we may hold off on any executive session, so that we don't have to do it, online, and via email or anything like that, and we
Okay,
could discuss it at the next meeting, if that's okay.
that'd be fine. Any other business, Jim?
No vouchers today.
I have a concern. I related to the planning board, but overall, in general for Bellingham. Jim, I realize our numbers are going up. And people
Which numbers?
are concerned about what's going to be in front of us down the road. I would like to go live in town hall as long as we can, but I don't want to put anyone's health at risk. So as we've done in the past, if you don't feel comfortable being at town hall, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I think that's what we want to continue with the future. Is the town planning to promote being aware of what's going on with COVID now in town?
Yeah, if you log on 10, I think it's, hold on one second, I got the time. What is it? 10 a.m. on Monday. We're starting back our talk show on Access. So the town officials, as well as the public health nurse, will start up just giving, I think, either weekly or biweekly updates on COVID related items. The numbers are going up. We're at 13 right now. Our magic number for being red in Bellingham is 20. So we still have a little bit of gap there, but yeah, the numbers across the board are going up.
I know it's not your purview, but you seem to be the wizard at running a lot of these meetings. Can we see if we can get some public information out there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Scroll on the Bellingham website to stay aware and of what's going on, as well as to communicate with some of the, for lack of a better word, the information billboards or signs we have in town. Because I would hate to see people put their guard down, especially around the holidays, and have it ramp up again. Anyone have any questions or concerns?
Bill, just one quick question to Jim. Jim, I know that there was a possibility that the selectmen were going to take up a discussion on the properties across the street from Home Depot and the gas stations and Dunkin' Donuts. Do you know if that happened? And
I know a letter was sent to him discussing their concerns about the safety from the board. And I believe there is going to be a meeting fairly soon here with the individual to try and improve that situation.
thank you.
What piece of land are we talking about?
That's the Meehan properties.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware, I was thinking of putting a Dunkin' Donuts in there.
No, it's across the street from the Dunks. Is
Okay,
I think what Brian was saying.
okay. And yeah, you know, it is a little unsightly, Jim.
I'm aware, yeah.
It'd be nice if you could, you know, erect a fence until he decides to do something.
Someone came up with that maybe a year ago, I think.
I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a nice evening. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Jim, can you set it up so both documents can be signed at the same time?
Yep, yeah, I'll have everything ready for you guys. I'll send out an email reminder tomorrow too.
And then what I would advise, if you could do, is just call Jim ahead of time. Make sure he's there, remind you obviously to wear a mask when you go into town hall.
And Jim, maybe when you send that email out, you can see if you get in just general what your calendar looks like tomorrow. Just in, you know, if you get any meetings or first thing or anything like that.
Yep, I'm more open early. I think I have meetings starting at 10:30, between 10:30 and 12:30. But I'm open early. And I can, if you guys are around too, I can swing by whenever, over either Saturday or Monday. No big deal. There you guys.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much. Stay safe and be well.